Then after, we have the topic of exception handling. So this is very easy, and you already know in this Java and other languages. So I'm not going to deeply explain this particular exception. So for every code block, if you are wary of, it can throw some exceptions, like it can raise some errors. So what you have to do is you have to wrap that code block into try catch blocks. Okay. So first of all, the program is going to try that statements that whatever you have written in the try block, and if there is any error that was raised during the processing, at that time the catch block will get executed. And when an exception occurs in code within the try block, the code execution moves to the end of the try box and looks for an appropriate exception handler. So catch block is used for to raise the exception, and there are so many system exceptions, so many user-defined exceptions in the .NET framework. Accordingly, you can raise the appropriate exception whenever there is any mismatch, or whenever there is any error that was occurred during the runtime. So that is the main importance of having the try catch block in the program. And this is the same thing, like if you have implemented Java and other programming languages, the mechanism, the way of doing the things, even the syntax is also pretty much similar. Even the syntax is also, you can resemble. Okay, so there is a try block which is going to be started, and there is a statement which you can think like it may raise an exception at runtime. So it is not for sure, that you also don't know at runtime what values are being supplied. But anytime this particular is value is going to be raised by an exception called as divide by zero exception. So this we are manually raising the exception, but sometimes we do not know what value is being pumped into this particular variable. So you may not like beforehand guess, this may result into an error or it may simply pass on. So we do not know. So at that time you try to implement this in the try block, and accordingly the catch block will be having different system defined or user defined catch blocks, exception classes. See here, system.divide by zero exception is one type of class, and where any kind of divide by zero exception occurs, then only it will get raised. Similarly, you can catch a root level exception, any kind of error. It's not a divide by zero exception. It's not a null reference exception. It's not an arithmetic overflow exception. Any kind of exception you want to throw, then system.exception that you have to write. Otherwise, there are so many classes that are created in the .NET framework. Pinpointedly, you can raise a particular exception. Otherwise, you can catch in general, like system.exception. You can specify multiple catch blocks to each different types of exception. A program can throw exceptions, including customized exceptions. So it's this is what you are seeing is a system defined. That means the .NET library framework provided exception, but I can create my own exception. System dot not attended exception. Okay, system dot anything like that. You can create your own exception also. So how to create your own exception? Okay, you can see here there is an example that is given. There is a class which is with the name exception demo. Okay, so what it is doing? It is actually having one code block method. This is a method having some statements. Get exception. Where this get exception is implemented. This get exception is actually implemented here. Okay. So this is nothing but a simple method, but inside this method we are actually throwing a exception. This is a generic exception. Okay, so this is a class. We are throwing an exception without any reason, for the sake of only getting it executed in an exceptional way. Okay, so what you can do is you can throw some exception from this method, and this method is being called. So whenever this particular method is being called, it is actually inside this method, exception is being raised. So accordingly, this is going to be caught on the catch block, and whatever you have provided in the statements, that will get executed. And our block is finally block, and everybody might be knowing what is the importance of the finally block. Even though the error is being raised or not, this particular code block will get executed. Whenever there is any error, then only the catch block will get executed. Okay, only in the case of the exceptions, the catch block will get executed. But if nothing is raised as an error, then the catch block will not be running. But if you are raising an exception, or if you are simply smoothly passing the statements from one line to another line, the finally block will get executed. So this is the importance of the finally block. So it does not depend on the error raising capabilities of your program. Finally block will get executed, and where it is being generally used, finally block is generally being used. Can anyone answer? In what situations the finally block can generally be given with some logic? Anybody can give the answer for this? If you have implemented the Java, you can easily give this answer. Yes, anybody? Are you hearing me or not? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah, but you have understood. But what actually we write in this finally block? Because try catch block is not a single programming language concept. It's everywhere. In every programming language, try catch block is there. So where this finally block will get executed, what kind of statements we generally put in the finally block?
So the default statements which has to be executed irrespective of try catch block.
It's not the default, but one classic example I will provide. Suppose you have opened a database connection here. Okay, so you have opened a database connection here in the try block, and some error was occurred because the database server did not connect in some few milliseconds. During that time, our application tried to connect with the database, but it was not there. So what happens? Naturally, the catch block will get executed. Okay, so catch block will get executed. So the catch block is saying something like you got an exception, something like that. But by that time, our database is already opened. By that time, our database is already opened. So we need to close it from our application context. So that's why we do the whatever the closing kind of ceremonies here, because if you are not closing, suppose what happens if you are successfully connected to a database, after some statements, after some couple of lines of statements, some error was there, but the database connection is still open. Okay, and the catch block is simply raising an error. It's not taking care of any database closing formalities. So here in the finally block, we can close the database so that it will be accessible for the next demand. So next demand, by the time from the side of programmer, if any next request come to open the database, then the database server is at least capable to handle the further incoming requests. So that is why we generally give with this finally block. So this is how we can use our exceptions. Then delegate, unit delegates. So what are delegates? C# delegates are similar to the pointers to functions. So these are similar to the functions, function pointers in C++ or C. Okay, so you might be knowing the pointers. Okay, everyone, I guess everybody is knowing the pointers in C# or C++, C or C++. So a delegate is a reference type variable that holds the reference to a method. So now what is a delegate? A delegate is a reference type variable that holds the reference to a method. So what it actually does is it simply store the location of a particular method in your defined class. But what is the significance of the delegate? The reference can be changed at runtime. Okay, so what is a delegate? A reference type. It holds a reference to a method, and it can be changed at runtime. Now, delegates are especially used for implementing events and the callback methods. What are the events? We will shortly come to know. That means the basis of the events is nothing but the delegates. जब भी अगर आपको कोई इवेंट क्रिएट करना है, कस्टम इवेंट क्रिएट करना है आपके एप्लीकेशन के लिए, then in .NET framework you have to use the delegates only. There is no other mechanism. Okay, so that means events are lying on top of the delegates. पहला बेस डेलीगेट है, डेलीगेट समझने के बाद ही आप इवेंट्स को हैंडल कर सकते हैं. And secondly, they are being generally used for the callback methods. What are callback methods? Nowadays, every programming language is using asynchronous operations heavily. Asynchronous operation means, suppose your application wants to get some customers data, and customers data is in some lakhs. Okay, so first of all, it has to connect to the database, and the database will try to fire the query, and according to that query, it will try to retrieve the data, and after retrieving the data, your application is going to be received, then only your application is going to process. So sometimes during the network calls, some lag will be there. आपको लगेगा कि डेटाबेस को मैं जैसे कनेक्ट करूंगा तो तुरंत मेरे पास डेटा आ जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होता. It will take some time. It depends on your local database, or whether it is remotely connected, or in which country the database server is actually located, and उस टाइम का आपका नेटवर्क का कैपेसिटी क्या है, नेटवर्क का लैग कितना है, काफी सारे फैक्टर्स डिपेंड करता है. तो कभी कभी आपको लगेगा कि जैसे मैंने फायर किया तो तुरंत दूसरे मिली सेकंड में मेरे पास डेटा आ जाएगा, बट ऐसा होता नहीं है. समटाइम्स टू रिट्रीव द डेटा यू मे हैव टू वेट फॉर some 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds is more higher side. 100 to some 200 milliseconds means your application has to wait so much of time. So in that way, we can consider for the faster applications. So delegates are generally used so that to use the callback methods. So callback mechanism में क्या होता है? Line by line, your statements are getting operated. First, open the database in this first statement. Okay. Then after this, you want to refer any third party library here. Then library के बाद कुछ तो भी report आपको दिखाना है. Then यहाँ पे कुछ और करना है. ऐसा statement आपने लिखा है. But sequential operation में क्या होगा? यहाँ से कोई reply नहीं आया तो second line of statement execute ही नहीं होगा. So that's why you generally see the hanging of your application. So application hang हो गया, response unresponsive हो गया है. So all these are the nature of the sequential programming. Okay, so nowadays every programming language is by default supporting the asynchronous operation. So first call क्या करेगा, database को asynchronously open करेगा. Asynchronously open करेगा मतलब इसने बता दिया है कि मुझे ये डेटा चाहिए प्रोग्राम, और डेटाबेस का काम है जब भी वो रेडी होगा तो आपके एप्लीकेशन को इन्फॉर्म करेगा, यस आई हैव द डेटा, नाउ यू टेक दिस. So by that time the application may be at this point. Okay, so इतना टाइम अपना बच गया है. And your application is also responsive. Asynchronous में क्या होता है कि responsive applications आप डिजाइन कर सकते हैं. Sequential program में क्या होता है कि unresponsive applications generally it depends on the runtime. Okay, runtime में आपका नेटवर्क, आपके जो प्रोसेसिंग, आपका स्टेटमेंट, आपका ऑप्टिमाइजेशन ऑफ कोड कितना है, ये सारे फैक्टर्स के ऊपर sequential कोड इफेक्ट करेगा. बट रेस्पॉन्सिव प्रोग्रामिंग में, दैट मींस एसिंक्रोनस प्रोग्रामिंग में आप पूर्ली भी डिजाइन करेंगे तो एसिंक्रोनस प्रोग्रामिंग क्या करेगा, थोड़ा बहुत टेक केयर करेगा. तो आपका डेटाबेस को कनेक्ट करके डेटा लाने में अगर आपका शायद 1 सेकंड भी लग रहा होगा, तो 1 सेकंड तो बहुत ज्यादा है, तो 1 सेकंड भी लग रहा होगा तो बाय दैट टाइम योर अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द योर अदर फॉर्म्स और अदर पेजेस ऑफ द एप्लीकेशन will get actually executed. After executing those lines, your data will be neatly shown as loaded lately. So this is what we call as Ajax programming. So Ajax में भी वही होता है, but वो callback mechanism like postback में होता है. तो postback अगर समझ में नहीं आता अभी छोड़ देना, ASP.NET में हम समझेंगे, ठीक है. So delegates are especially used for events, first one, then in the callback methods. So all delegates are implicitly derived from this root namespace. A delegate can refer to a method which has the same signature as that of the delegate. So this is the condition. A delegate can refer to a method which is having the same signature. तो signature same होना चाहिए, तभी आपका delegate method invoke कर सकता है कि वो target method को. So delegates are reference types which allow indirect calls to methods. They are actually calling indirectly. Indirectly means आप directly आप method को, जैसे आपने एक object oriented programming लिखा, ठीक है, show the report one, ठीक है, so you will call this method as report one, and there is one more method that is called as report two, report 5, report 7. In that way, so many reports you have created, but what report user will select accordingly आपका कोड जनरेट होना चाहिए, है ना. तो उसके लिए क्या करेंगे, एक ही तरीका है, if else ब्लॉक में लिखेंगे if report 1 is selected then report 1 कोड एग्जीक्यूट करना है. If report 2 selected, second checkbox is selected, report 2, third checkbox is selected, report 3, or fourth radio button is selected, report 5. In that way you have to build your logic. But rather than that, you can create the report methods in this way, and at runtime you can take the decision whether to call this or whether to call this, or dynamically whether to call this. ये जब तक यूजर अपना इनपुट नहीं देगा तब तक प्रोग्राम को भी नहीं पता है कि क्या एग्जीक्यूट करना है. so many sequence lines of operation करने से अच्छा so delegate methods को use करके हम call methods को invoke कर सकते हैं. We will see that practically. A delegate instance holds reference to some number of methods. Okay, so report 1 को भी refer कर सकता है, report 2 को भी refer कर सकता है, report 3 को भी कर सकता है, report 7 को भी कर सकता है. So there is a single delegate, एक ही delegate हम assign कर रहे हैं multiple methods के लिए. So this is the advantage of taking the delegate instead of doing the normal traditional programming. So the usefulness of delegates lies in the fact that the functions which invoke them are blind to the underlying methods. अब ये calling method को भी पता नहीं है कि कौन से target method execute होगा, किसी को भी पता नहीं है. ये delegate के ऊपर responsibility है कि किसको invoke करना है. So delegates are nothing but intermediate objects. Okay, let us discuss in a common realistic world scenarios. अगर आपने कभी सुने होंगे तो foreign delegates. So anybody heard this term, foreign delegates or foreign ambassadors, isn't it? So who are they? So foreign delegates, foreign ambassadors are those people who are acting on part of their country in terms of the country's representation. जैसे इंडिया में जर्मनी का एक एम्बेसडर है और जर्मनी का फॉरेन डेलीगेट है. So instead of we are calling up the German country so that we are talking to one of the minister, what we try to do is the ambassador is sitting in Delhi itself. So we directly contact with the ambassador, and that ambassador or delegate is responsible for doing the whatever the action as per the instructions. Okay, so that is the meaning of the delegate. So the delegates are nothing but the agents. Delegates are nothing but the ambassadors or the responsible people for doing something which we can do in a very shortcut manner. Otherwise आप वहां पे किसको बात करेंगे, जो भी आपको किसी से बात करना है तो डेलीगेट को बता देंगे और डेलीगेट क्या करेगा, उसका फर्दर लुकआउट है, आप उसको हैंड ओवर करेंगे द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ही विल टेक अप द मैटर एंड डू द फिनिशिंग पार्ट. So in that way we can understand the delegates in this programming language. So it can be seen that delegates are functionally rather similar to C++ function pointers. However, it is important to bear in mind two differences. First of all, they are reference types, and second thing is in which C++ is not capable is this particular capability. Delegates can refer multiple methods. मतलब एक आप फॉरेन डेलीगेट को बता के आप वहाँ का आर्मी के कुछ इंस्ट्रक्शंस आपको बता सकते हैं, आपके फॉरेन अफेयर्स का कुछ कंटेंट आप बता सकते हैं, आप कुछ प्रेसिडेंशियल विजिट का, मतलब जो भी मैटर होगा irrespective of the domain, you can talk for that particular country's matter. So that is the part of the foreign delegate or ambassador. Similarly, the delegate in C Sharp or in the .NET framework can refer multiple methods. Okay. So see the example here. We are going to create a delegate here. So the declaration, the syntax is like this. This is a keyword. Then you have to put a return type like a method. Okay. And this is the delegate name and arguments list. Except this keyword, ये कीवर्ड निकाल के देखो, बाकी पूरा एक फंक्शन डेफिनेशन टाइप का है, एक फंक्शन डिफाइन करेंगे ना तो वैसा है, ठीक है। तो पब्लिक डेलीगेट हम इसीलिए यूज कर रहे हैं बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट ए मेथड, दिस इज अ डेलीगेट एंड इट इज हैविंग सम रिटर्न टाइप, दिस इज द रिटर्न टाइप एंड दिस इज द नेम ऑफ द डेलीगेट। एंड ऑप्शनली इफ यू वांट टू हैव एनी आर्गुमेंट्स लिस्ट, जैसे फंक्शंस में आर्गुमेंट्स होते हैं ना, parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, so in that way you can take the parameter names. So this is how we can declare a delegate. So the preceding delegate can be used to reference any method, see here, any method which is following this method signature. ये जो यहाँ पे आपको method signature जो दिख रहे हैं ना, पूरा का पूरा जो कंप्लाई करता है मेथड, वो सारे मेथड्स को ये डेलीगेट इन्वोक कर सकता है। तो इट कैन इन्वोक ऑल द मेथड्स which are having same return type as well as same argument list. Getting? अगर कोई एक फंक्शन है माइड, सपोज फंक्शन ऐड इंटीजर आई, उसको इन्वोक नहीं कर सकता, ऐड स्ट्रिंग str उसको वो इन्वोक कर सकता है। सो दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ द, बट रिटर्न टाइप भी सेम होना चाहिए, रिटर्न टाइप, आर्ग्यूमेंट लिस्ट, ये पूरा का पूरा मैच होना चाहिए, तभी वो डेलीगेट इन्वोक कर सकता है, नहीं तो नहीं इन्वोक कर सकता। तो इन द रियल वर्ल्ड टर्म, अगर वो जर्मन के एम्बेसडर है तो जो भी जर्मन के जर्मन कंट्री के लिए, जर्मनी के लिए जो भी इंस्ट्रक्शंस है या जो भी मैसेजेस कन्वे करना है, वही वो प्रोसेस कर सकता है, ना कि रशिया के। रशिया का नहीं कर सकता बिकॉज रशिया में ये जो जर्मन एम्बेसडर का कोई रोल नहीं है। सिमिलरली द methods, then only this delegate can invoke the methods. I think I am clear enough to provide with the proper example. So now we will again see much explanation on this. Delegates are reference types, but in general they refer the methods only. They do not refer objects. Objects को refer नहीं करता हो, simply methods को ही करेगा। एंड डेलीगेट्स हैव नो मेथड बॉडी। यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे देयर इज नो मेथड बॉडी। मैंने यहाँ पे कोई ब्रेसेस स्टार्ट करके सम स्टेटमेंट्स मैंने नहीं लिखा। ओके, सो दे डू नॉट हैव बॉडी, दे आर द सिंपल डेफिनेशंस। डेलीगेट्स आर टाइप सेफ, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड एंड हाईली सिक्योर। डेलीगेट इज ए फंक्शन पॉइंटर दैट अलाउस यू टू रेफरेंस ए मेथड। ये बार बार आ रहा है, ठीक है, वही सेम पॉइंट है। It's a function pointer. Okay, so it is nothing but a function pointer. So ये pointer का रोल क्या है? Some methods है, this is the first method, this is the second method, this is the third method. ये method के addresses को just store करके रखता है, store करके रखने का capability है, ऐसा आप understand कर सकते हैं। Inner details अपने को जानने की जरूरत नहीं है, simply method signature comply कर तो they can access this method invocation, they can invoke these methods. Then delegates encapsulate methods. This is the finest security that we can provide by using the methods. Okay, and encapsulate methods means suppose आपने मेथड 1 को, मेथड 2 को, मेथड 3 को आपने बनाया है एंड ये एपीआई में आप एक्सपोज किया है टू द एक्सटर्नल कंपनीज, ये जनरली करते हैं, ठीक है। एंड यू डोंट हैव टू शो अप योर मेथड्स, एक्चुअली इसका नाम क्या है, प्रिंट रिपोर्ट, ये ऐसा इसका नाम है, और प्रिंट एक्सेल, ये ऐसा इसका नाम है। So finally what methods actually you have created in your class, you don't have to show, simply you can expose this delegate, इसका delegate का नाम कुछ xyz आप रख सकते हैं, and third parties will not be able to see what are the methods that you have created. So that is how we can create the security by using the delegates. So that's why we can provide the encapsulation feature, and encapsulation is the best one of the major pillar of the object oriented programming paradigm. So delegates are capable to create the encapsulation of the methods. ये function that is added to delegates must have same return type and same method signature. So ये हमने already discuss कर चुके हैं. So these are the points that you have to remember about the delegates. Then delegates and events. Delegates can be specified on their own in a namespace or else can be specified with another class. तो delegates को कहीं पर भी आप रख सकते हैं, क्लास के अंदर रख सकते हैं या namespace के अंदर रख सकते हैं, कैसे भी आप प्रोवाइड कर सकते हैं. In each case, the declaration specify a new class and which is inheriting from this namespace. Okay. So each delegate is limited to referencing methods of a particular kind only. Reference of a particular kind only means particular method signature, return type, so पूरा मैच होना चाहिए. Input parameters, return type, and all these should be compatible. Okay. So ये कहाँ डिक्लेयर होगा, वो डिक्लेयर डेलीगेट में डिक्लेयर करेंगे और अकॉर्डिंगली उसी मेथड्स को हम इन्वोक कर सकते हैं. Then a delegate specified as below can be used to refer only to methods which have a single string input and no return value. No return value, single input string. So you can invoke a method. This is a method, a real method, which is having the void return type, same as this. It is returning void, that means nothing. And it is having a string 1, only 1. You cannot take 2. Only 1 input parameter for this method. So that means this delegate print, the name of the delegate is print, can invoke this real method. This can invoke this method without directly calling the real method. So directly call नहीं कर रहे हम, indirectly call कर रहे हैं. Indirectly call कैसे कर रहे हैं, देखो यहाँ पे. As an argument we are passing. So print is a delegate type here. So here print is a delegate type that we have declared, and you are free to define this with any name. इसका कोई importance नहीं है. Is new print because delegate is an object. Okay, so that's why you are instantiating, and it can take the argument as the method name. See here, the argument is the method name, not the argument list of the, because इसको already पता है कि print एक input string लेगा करके. Okay, so real method को आप directly invoke कर सकते हैं, and this is where you are dynamically going to pass in the program at runtime. Runtime में dynamically real method को आप attach करेंगे. ये आप runtime में कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पे आपको print करके दिख रहा है, but runtime में dynamically आप इसको send कर सकते हैं. So till this particular line is not getting executed, प्रोग्राम को भी नहीं पता है कि यहाँ पे कौन सा मेथड इन्वोक होगा, क्योंकि रियल मेथड जैसा 50 मेथड्स है विद द सेम मेथड सिग्नेचर. तो 50 कंट्रीज के लिए आपने 50 मेथड्स बनाया, तो 50 मेथड्स आप यूजर सिलेक्शन के बेसिस पे डायरेक्टली सेंड कर रहे हैं, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली इट इज गोइंग टू बी रन विदाउट नोइंग एट द कंपाइलेशन टाइम. इसको कंपाइलेशन का टाइम में पता नहीं है कि यही मेथड आएंगे करके. कंपाइलेशन टाइम में उसको कुछ भी नहीं पता, रन टाइम में ही पता चलेगा. ओके, तो अंडरस्टूड.